Yes, it is my hope that you are in good health. Well, it is my hope that you are in good health. It is my hope that you are in good health. Yes, my name is Moses Utino and this is Ochuku TV, your number one online digital platform. Get me on Ochuku TV 2 on TikTok, and also Radio Ochuku 1 on TikTok too. For Twitter, get me at Ajay Moses, and on Facebook, get me at Mose Utino Oku. So William Ruto has embarrassed Kenyans in Norway, a trip which Ruto was accompanied with or by Mudavadi. So Ruto was accompanied with Mudavadi, among other Kenyan dignitaries that were with the president. And so Ruto is an embarrassment to Kenyans. I basically think that William Ruto is an embarrassment to Kenyans, in the sense that how can President Ruto go to Norway and claim that we need, as Kenyans, a shipping operator. We need a shipping operator, and that operator will be a Norwegian, and that shipping operator will now be doing the operational work of shipping for Kenyans. That is an embarrassment to the Kenyan nation. William Samoei Ruto is the president who travels in high-end private jets. And in doing so, Ruto is using the taxpayers' money to travel across the world, clout chasing and spreading propaganda that cannot help Kenyans. I don't know why William Ruto, in his capacity, uttered the words that Kenya needs a Norwegian operator, ship operator, to now do the operational work in terms of shipping. Honestly, William Ruto is an embarrassment to Kenyans. William Ruto is an embarrassment to Kenyans. And let us call a spade a spade. Let us tell the truth where the truth is deserved. I don't think any Kenyan of sound and mind should support the shenanigans of William Ruto. It is primitive. It is primitive for Ruto to travel to Norway, come from Nairobi, go to Norway, and tell the Norwegians that Kenya needs a shipping operator. That we need a Norwegian to operate for us, or to be an operator for our ship or our ships. That is uncalled for. Let us talk about the many deals that Ruto has orchestrated internationally. He took our policemen to Haiti, a war that never benefited Kenyans. Kenyan policemen went to Haiti while Kenyans were dying at home. All these deals that William Samoei Ruto has had internationally have portrayed the Kenya we want and desire in a bad picture. Talk about allowing Americans or constructing a quarantine facility for Ebola patients in Kenya who are Americans. William Samoei Ruto is an embarrassment to Kenyans, and it is embarrassing to have a president who is only focusing on enriching themselves and, embezzling funds. Every day, William Samoei Ruto talks about creating jobs for Kenyans outside Kenya. You'll hear him, he has created hundreds of jobs in America, I don't know, in Canada. We elected William Ruto to create jobs in Kenya, not to create jobs in Norway, not to create jobs in America, not to create jobs in France, not to create jobs in Saudi Arabia, not to create jobs in Qatar. We elected William Ruto to create jobs in Kenya, to create employment opportunities in Kenya, and not in other countries outside Kenya. That is why William Samoei Ruto was elected. But, like he normally does, he always ran away from reality and the real question. And you see, our regard is to have a president who champions for constitutionalism, a president who champions for the rule of law, a president who champions for the economy of Kenya, so that Kenya should be at par with countries like Singapore, the way it is alluded. And so, William Samoei Ruto is an embarrassment to Kenyans. Why would Ruto go to Norway and tell the Norwegian government that we need a Norwegian ship operator to come to Kenya? Do we need a Norwegian to operate our ships? Do we need that? We don't. William Ruto is not only an embarrassment to Kenya, but also an embarrassment to the entire Africa. While many countries are struggling to develop their country, William Samoei Ruto is struggling to steal from the very poor Kenyans, from the very vulnerable Kenyans, from the very needy Kenyans, from the very Kenyans who are, contributing to the economy. And so, William Ruto is an embarrassment to Kenyans. He is an embarrassment to Kenyans, and we must vote out bad governance. Kenya cannot progress if we cannot eradicate bad governance, if we cannot disown William Ruto in totality. So yes, we have to disown William Samoei Ruto. So it was very embarrassing for William Samoei Ruto to go to Norway and address the Norwegian government that we need a ship operator. And it is a primitive suggestion, and it is a kind of suggestion that portrays Kenya as a country which is being operated by a baboon. Yes, William Ruto is a baboon. He is a baboon intellectually. An intellectual baboon. That is William Ruto. So, if we are to build a country which is under the rule of law, which is under the principles of constitutionalism, we have to ensure that William Samoei Ruto abides with the constitution, that William Samoei Ruto obeys our constitution, that William Samoei Ruto stands with the Kenyans in all the, all the steps that is needed for us as a nation. That is why we want William Samoei Ruto to create jobs within Kenya. to create jobs in Kenya, not to create for Kenyans jobs outside Kenya. We need jobs in Kenya because in Kenya there are opportunities for us as Kenyans. That is why William Samoei Ruto must deliver for Kenyans, must work for Kenyans, must, follow the constitution, and must stop embezzling the funds, taxes belonging to Kenyans. We don't want a president who becomes an embarrassment to Kenyans. We want a president who obeys court orders. We want a president who respects the rights of Kenyans. We want a president who upholds the sovereignty and the dignity of Kenyans. We never elected William Samoei Ruto to go to Norway. We never elected William Samoei Ruto to, board the most expensive jets in the world. We voted for William Ruto in 2022 because we believed in the economic transformation of the bottom-up economic model. That is why William Samoei Ruto was voted. But having said this, William Samoei Ruto has betrayed the people of Kenya, and the trust he had with the people of Kenya is no longer there. The trust is gone, and we are telling William Samoei Ruto that he should stop becoming an embarrassment to Kenyans. Kenyans are sovereign, Kenyans are powerful, Kenyans are sacred, and Kenyans must not be taken for granted by one William Samoei Ruto. That is why we are saying that going to different countries of the world should be based on certain agenda, should be based on certain principles, should be based on certain diplomatic reasons, and not primitivity and flimsy statements coming from William Samoei Ruto. Once again, this is Ochuku TV, and my name is Moses Otieno. However, we are experiencing some darkness because of power blackout. It is because of power blackout that we do not have electricity. So actually, you will bear with me because we do not have electricity. So that is what we were discussing today. Why William Ruto is becoming an embarrassment to Kenyans. Why William Ruto is after selling Kenya. Why William Samoei Ruto subverts the rule of law. Why William Samoei Ruto doesn't regard the basic principles of the Bill of Rights. That is why we were having this kind of engagement. Once again, this is Ochuku TV. My name is Moses Otieno. Get me on Facebook as Mose Otieno Okumu. That is on Facebook. Get me on TikTok at Ochuku TV 2 and also at Radio Ochuku 1. Get me on X, formerly Twitter, as Ajay Moses. At Ajay Moses. That is on Twitter. And so, we have a sole responsibility to ensure that as Kenyans, we vote leaders who practice integrity, leaders who will value accountability, and leaders who will uphold the Bill of Rights. Those are the people that we should vote for, and not the characters or the character, a leader of a character of William Ruto. Pretenders, liars, and the people whose track record are in question. We as Kenyans must vote in leaders with the true track record. Otherwise, guys, it was nice to be with you. It is because of this power blackout that many things are not running as they should be running. For now, goodbye for now. Until next time, my name is Moses Otieno. Goodbye for now.